Welcome back to Rings Chat, where we'll be discussing episode 5. If you like our vibe, drop a like and subscribe because it really helps out. And also comment what you thought about the episode right now.
I will it to be so.
Anyway, we're going to try something old, new again. We're just going to do the episode from start to finish. we're gonna ignore arcs because I feel like it'll make a more sense in general if you've seen the episode. So what we're starting with is Muriel, Queen Regent Muriel, blessing babies in the courtroom of Numenor.
It's very nice.
What did you think of that scene? I know what I thought of that. We actually watched together in VR. I feel like that's
that was
a little snippet that we need to
drop. If you put it right here, I think we have a photo of us. Aww. Yeah. And then you put a little aww. That was if you have the opportunity to watch Rings of Power in VR, I would totally recommend that. It was almost like watching it in the theater when we did the screening, you know? Shout out to Picture, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But yeah, that was horrifying because it started out real like normal or whatever with Muriel nice blessing babies and doing a nice thing. Yeah, you're cradling the youths of Numenor. And then all of a sudden a tsunami that's destroying the entire city, which was
splish splash out. We were taking
standing
a bath. Yeah. Once again they hit it right on the head. That shit was real scary. Man, those waves were huge.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And the two of us were watching and we were like, what this can't be. Is this it?
Yeah.
And then of course she wakes up and then we find out that it was all a dream, as it were.
Or as they say in Numenor, a dream.
But we get our first glimpse of what will inevitably be the future of Numenor because, spoiler alert, we know that it's not around during the Lord of the Rings. So, you know.
Thanks Christopher Tolkien for finishing your father's books.
Yeah, unless somebody does something real crazy. I guess so. Like, you took the unfinished notes and you, like, reworked them or whatever. You're talking about for the Silmarillion?
I'm talking about for the book that comes out in October, The Fall of Numenor.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a book that comes out. Yeah, it comes out. I believe it comes out in October, The Fall of Numenor.
Oh, I had no idea that was a thing. That's cool. Wow.
Oh yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that, like me, drop a comment.
Drop a comment.
What you're talking about. So we get that. It's our first indication that something is afoot in Numenor, and we're finally getting a little glimpse of what's wrong with the Queen Regent. Why is she being so mean, I guess, to Galadriel? And why is she so incredibly concerned? And what is the looming threat that she's concerned about in the last episode when she's talking to her father? But then after she wakes up, we get our glimpse at our boy. His name is Tamar, which I didn't know, but the guild master guy that our boy Sauron has a little bit of an altercation with in the previous episode.
You can't hold on. You can't just be calling everybody Sauron.
Oh no, I'm calling the only person that is Sauron. It's Halbrand.
Okay. All right.
And he shall be referred to as such from now on.
Also, what the hell you mean? Obvious. What the hell you mean, our boy? I don't like that guy. That guy's a dick.
Yeah, I hate that guy. But he's rabbling up his rouses, and he's like, no, the elves are going to come in and they're going to take our jobs. We're not going to let them do that. But then our actual boy. Well, I don't know. Everybody's our boy, but Pharazôn,
Mr. Guy. Mm-hmm. Or as I've been saying, that Jack Black looking motherfucker. Yeah,
Jack Black.
He really does look like Jack Black to me.
Here, in case you need, this is Jack Black, and this is Pharazôn. Wait, hold on. Yeah. No, switch. This is Jack Black, and this is Pharazôn. You see it? Okay. But he comes in. He comes in an interesting juxtaposition between what Tamar was doing, which is like riling them up because they're so scared of the potential of the elves, and instead
they're going to take our jobs and live forever doing it.
But instead, Pharazôn, in a way that like presents himself as like the speaker that he is. He's like
Uh-huh.
we are Numenor. We're the descendants of great men, essentially. And he's like, we're going to let one elf, a castaway, take down Numenor? I think not. That's outrageous. And then he's like, drinks for everyone. Which apparently is a recurring theme of what makes people happy.
I know,
in Numenor.
my
They're
God,
just all alcoholics.
they love to drink in Numenor. I mean,
Yeah, if Halbrand is not Sauron, all Sauron's got to do when he drops in, the gift giver is going to just drop in a round of drinks, and they're going to be putty in his hands.
they would have signed up right then and there. That's how he got the orcs.
Something that I thought was cool. I don't think it's like a real like Easter egg, but it's a costume detail that I thought tells a lot of the story. But Pharazôn, I pointed out when we were watching together, but you know the guild like crest that the blacksmith guy has, and that
the
Halbrand
little
tried
button
to take from him last time.
Yeah,
He has like 20 of them, like the little merit badges.
he's done all the side quests in Numenor.
Yeah, for sure.
He
He's got
has-
like the first aid one. He's got
Yeah,
the
he
one
was
for
there-
completing the raid.
He was there for Numenor Classic, so he's been around.
Yeah, shout out to the recently released Wrath of the Lich King World of Warcraft Classic. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Oh man, that'd be a great sponsor. What's better than that?
The only thing better than that is Tales of the Nova Realm, fantasy fiction podcast available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, and also Amazon Music. Go check it out. But and then another little detail that I liked at the very end of that scene, when everybody's enjoying their wine and their little delicatessens, we see our Pharazôn's son Kemen sniffing after our girl.
Oh yeah,
Iadian.
yeah. He was
What's going on
waiting
there?
right there with. He had that random glass of wine in the middle of the day at a riot, like it was normal for him.
He
What was that?
already before
He had that
before
fucking
everybody
glass
else
of
had
wine
their drink. He had it.
He didn't even have a bottle of wine, I don't think. He just had it. Look at all those buttons. I can have anything to you. Do you know who my dad is? You know, that type of guy.
That guy. I guarantee you that guy is probably going to end up like that. Like he seems really nice, but I feel like he's going to be one of those characters.
She's going to turn him down, and he's going to become a real dick.
Yeah, for sure. My father,
Or she's going
the
to like outdo him in the Builders Guild, and he's going to be like, Numenor is going to be great again. You know.
Yeah, he's going to be jealous. Yeah, that'll stir up a whole mess.
Like the dark clouds amongst Mordor.
But our next scene, we see Muriel and Galadriel having a little chit chat. Galadriel's finally like legitimately petitioning her to like, we need your help. We need to defeat like, look at these things that I found in your library when I ran away from the castle against your wishes. But look what I found. Look what I found. This is bad. We need to go help the Southlanders, and you should help us because we used to be friends. And Muriel's like, no, I don't want.
I ain't doing it.
That.
I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
It. We're gonna send you home, and there's not really anything that you can say about it. So Galadriel's like, well, you know what? If you are not going to do what I want to do, I'm going to go straight to your daddy. Okay?
To your dad. To your daddy.
To which Muriel was very upset.
Nah, she didn't like that shit. Nobody likes to go to their parents. That's a shitty move. I'm gonna be real with it,
No.
Galadriel. That's a shitty move. I'd be pissed too.
And during this altercation, we're met with the line of all lines by Galadriel that there is a tempest in me. It swept me to this island for a reason, and it will not be quelled by you, Regent. Which is inevitably met with her going straight to jail.
Yeah,
right away.
Like cut straight to the cell. Yeah, she got locked up. Toot sweet. That was funny though.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
the timing of that like serious
Yeah.
scene too. I am not even dealing with you.
Yeah. Also, that weren't they they were really selling that in the teasers.
What, the Tempest line?
Yeah, that Tempest line. I remember seeing that over and over again. Her like her I thought she was gonna do like trilogy Galadriel and like turn silver.
You will have a queen. What is it?
Beautiful and fair, or whatever.
Oh, we love our Galadriel. So she gets locked in the slammer, and then it cuts over to Isildur back on the boat again in his training for. I wasn't sure if this was specifically the sea trials thing or if they were just training again. But Isildur,
I think it was too early for the trials, but I think it was probably just like they're, they had like short amount of time left.
Yeah, because they said it was like, I don't know, they said it was like 9 days away or whatever, right? Like
yeah,
the last
they were just doing their little
Galadriel's
training or something.
Yeah, and then Isildur hears that woman's voice again.
I don't know what the hell that is. I still don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either, but I saw somebody say that they believe it to be Isildur's mother, and I don't really know the relevance of that at this time because I don't, I'm not a Silmarillioid or whatever.
A Silmarilli,
but
yeah, I like that Silmarillioid.
Yeah, but it's obvious in the
hashtag Silmarillioid.
Hashtag Silmarillioid. But it's obvious in the following scenes after Isildur pulls some stupid stunt and gets him and his friends at like 100% kicked out of the Navy or whatever they call the sea force or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, the water's always right, so or the sea is always right.
The sea is always right. But I mean that's not even the sea. It's just mean guy was like
the sea is always right.
The sea is always right. But I mean like I don't know. I thought it was a little harsh from our boy
it didn't
or whatever his name is in Spartacus.
Yeah, that's right. And the scene didn't really like it seemed too harsh for what he potentially had seen with his own eyes, you know what I mean? Like the punishment didn't match what we witnessed. For
sure. I mean, for Isildur, I completely understand because he makes it obvious that like
Isildur
did what he did on purpose.
Yeah, no. I mean for the friends. Bad. Yeah, I mean for the friends. Like that didn't make any sense, but I guess he was trying to. I don't know.
Just like mean teacher. Yeah. I'm going to teach you a lesson by completely ruining your life. but classic mean teacher move. But we find out in like the little altercation with his friends afterwards, where he's like, they're talking to him about like what he believes is in the west of Numenor.
Right. Oh yeah, the real Numenor.
The real Numenor. So obviously Isildur is being called to the west for a specific thing that he wants to go do that he feels like is like his destiny or something. And that might play into like the mother thing. Like maybe it's
the
his mom
voice
calling
of
him
fate.
to his home or something. Like I don't know. Drop it in the comments if you know, because like we've said before,
I have no idea. I have no idea who could be whispering across the sea, although the sea is always right. I mean, I honestly don't know.
Maybe it's the sea itself whispering to him.
It's true. Could be.
Think about that for a second. But so Isildur sabotages and he has a falling out with his buddies or whatever. And we get that little snippet of maybe going to the west.
What? Yeah. One guy feeling so sick about his whole life being ruined that all he wants to do is throw up in the pot.
Yeah.
I saw him. I saw a meme that said when that one kid kicked the bucket, where somebody said and did you know that he actually broke his toe during this scene kicking the bucket?
I love that. That's funny.
I likes me a good LOTR meme.
So after that scene, we get transferred over to finally geting a glimpse of Adar. We're sent back to the end of the last episode. Adar. We're sent back to the end of the last episode, which is Erandir and Adar meeting. And we have a dying orc on the ground, and Adar comes up to him, and they have this like emotional kind of like embrace,
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
like have an understanding between each other, and he's like looking up at his father, I guess this father figure that they have, because Adar is Elvish for father.
He's an elf. Yeah.
And Adar is like clearly legitimately emotional about it. So it's like more than like there's more depth to him, I think.
Yeah, he's not just the typical bad like, or a dark bad lord guy. Yeah.
It's all a matter of perspective, I guess. Because he's probably he's probably a bad guy, but
we haven't seen the awful shit he's about to do.
Yeah, he's gonna do
he treats them pretty nice. That's their daddy. I'd be you know.
Yeah, he does treat him pretty nice until he stabs the one in the gut. But to be fair, he was just putting it out of its misery. Like we all know that.
We get it. Yeah.
But one thing I thought was interesting in that scene, after that orc dies, the one orc comes up to him and says some dark, what is it called? Black speech.
Yeah, a black speech,
phrase. Yeah. But they remove this piece of armor from that dead orc. And I didn't notice it when we watched it the first time, but the armor that they take off of him is the same as the armor that Arondir has. The like tree bark looking armor chest piece with the face
I didn't
on
notice that.
But it's like kind of messed up. So
it's all like scratched up and shit. So maybe that's leaning towards that how that one way that orcs are made.
Right. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that was our first
like corrupted elves.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to do when I'm watching this show is like I'm trying to like pretend as best I can that I don't know anything about anything, which I mean I kind of don't.
Yeah,
but like I know a little bit. But I'm trying to like wipe the slate clean.
Damn,
and
that's
kind of watch it as if I don't know anything. Yeah, and like that might be like a little hint for hopefully covering it in future episodes
in more detail,
or even future seasons or whatever. Because like Adar, like I would like to think that we're going to see Adar like corrupting elves in some way to turn them into orcs. But again, I don't know. Like I don't know anything about that process.
I'm not really
I don't know if it's like quick or what, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, in the trilogies we see things being made in like, you know, cesspools.
Like that's not how they were created though. The Uruk-hai were created, to my understanding, that they were like, you know, having relations with human women.
Yeah.
And like, and they just like kind of grew them fast in their little sacks in the ground.
In their little dirt sacks.
but I wonder if maybe the dagger, the like dagger hilt that we find out that they're looking for later on is maybe some sort of catalyst to like transforming elves to orcs or something. I don't know.
That's a cool theory. I like that. Yeah, that's a cool theory though. That's a cool theory. I like that.
I have to have at least one an episode where it literally like makes no sense.
Oh, it might be. I mean, it obviously does corrupt, right? It requires your own blood to be used, you know, like
yeah.
I like that idea. I like that idea. Hey, what do you think?
Yeah. Do you think my theory has any merit?
You don't got to be mean about it.
Yeah, you don't have to be mean. It's fine. I'm allowed to theorize anything I want. But so we have this interaction between Arondir and Adar, where we're learning just a little bit about it. I mean, essentially, it's Adar just kind of asking about him, and then Arondir is like, "Who are you?" And he doesn't give very much information at all.
No,
but essentially, he's like, it ends up being like, you know, you've been told so many lies.
What was that line that I liked?
It was something about
lies.
Like, they're deeply rooted.
Yeah, it was like like the lies are so deep that even the roots in the rocks believe them. Something like really beautiful like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. And again, this gives me the impression that like this guy is like corrupting elves and creating, or like I really like the idea that Adar is like one of the like people a corrupt making orcs.
Right. But do you think he himself is corrupted? Like, do you think like he was like a good guy at one point, or do you think he was? just
I
a
mean,
bad dude. Like,
I think a overall theme in Lord of the Rings in general, like in Tolkien's world, is that everything's corrupted. Like that, like
right.
nothing that was evil. I think they even said it in like the first episode.
Oh
Like
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
that
yeah.
was evil was always evil. Like it all
Was
started as
right, right,
good.
right. Okay, so it's a good
Um,
chance that he was a good guy who learned the truth. You know.
right, or at least the truth according to him. And then is it going to
Yeah.
be a situation where like we feel for him at what I really like villains
Uh
like
huh.
that. I really like villains like that. Like I hope that we get like a little.
He came with the feels, and that kind of I think you and I were surprised that we liked this villain so far.
Yeah, no, I really liked him.
You know what I
I
mean?
like how
I liked him a
he's
lot. I really liked
played. I like
his
everything that he's
swag.
saying. Like he's got some swag. He's got that
That
hand
guy's
that's
got some
gauntleted.
swag.
I have seen some theories that people know who he is. I don't know the name, and I'm not even going to try to re-explain the theory. But
Okay,
people have been saying that he's like an elf
he is
that was
significant.
supposed to have died, and that was relatively significant in the Silmarillion,
Oh.
and he was meant to
Okay.
have died, but like that specific elf like died in a fire, and then Adar's got like the burn marks on his face and like the gauntleted
Oh, okay.
hands and stuff
Well,
like that. So like,
that's enough. I mean, that's enough for people to go look on their own because I mean, that's the first I heard. So I'm probably gonna look it up myself. About. I mean, like I'm not diving too deep into who these characters are just because I kind of want to have that little bit of surprise. But
yeah,
all right, cool. I like that.
I agree. I like the experience. So I really hope that we'll get like a flashback or something with
Yeah.
Adar, kind of like
That would be
showing
really
him
dope, yeah.
normal or whatever, and like what
Oh
what
yes.
made him.
Oh
Because
yes.
I really
I
like.
think you're on. I think you're onto something with the hilt. I think you're onto something. That's
I'm
cool.
telling you,
That's a good theory. Yeah, it's a good theory.
Yeah. So he eventually lets Arondir go, apparently, with the stipulation
With a
that you're
message.
going to go and give a message to the humans in the Watchtower, which then cuts to us seeing the humans in the Watchtower. So everybody in the Southlands has gathered in the old Elvish Watchtower,
Yeah, the
essentially,
Watchtower. Yeah.
to escape the
Uh-huh.
threat of the orcs. Which personally, I don't really get. Like, I don't know why they're.
Maybe
Staying.
maybe it's just like, well, maybe they can't go too far, and that's like the nearest fortified location. You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably right. Like if they think that they're going to get overrun, they probably go straight to the fortress.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't think they're really putting too much thought into it, other than like we need to protect ourselves.
It quickly becomes obvious that they don't have the means to support the amount of people
Right.
that are there. And Theo and his mommy have a little spat, a little
Well,
pubescent,
as many boys do with their mothers. Yes,
we've
seen that.
They have a little altercation where Theo
Yep.
feels
Yep.
let's address those feelings, Theo. He feels like he's not being heard by his mother, and he feels like he should be a big responsible man and go get some food for the people in the village because it's safe. And his mom is like, "No, Theo."
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, I'll eat grain, Theo. We're alive, god damn it.
We're alive, Theo. But to be fair, Theo is probably right. And he takes his little skeevy looking buddy, and they go down to the village where they're going to look for food and everything. And they do manage to find a good amount of food, and they're on their way back. And Theo's like, what about the tavern? What about the tavern? And the guy's like, we've got enough. We've got to go, Theo, before the orcs are going to find us. I'm going to go in the tavern. You don't have to come if you don't want. And then
this man's got his whole cart ready to bounce.
Yeah, there's this guy having it. He's like, I'll wait right here. You can go do it yourself. So Theo goes in. The clouds cover up the sky, and this guy just immediately dips. He's like,
he's like, gone.
Fuck this shit.
I'm out.
And he just like leaves immediately. And Theo is attacked. I guess. What's the right? Theo is attacked by an orc in the tavern that finds him, and to which he pulls out the dark blade, revealing that he has it, which the orc is very interested in. So that's our first
He stops mid swing. He was about to hit the shit out of Theo, and he stops mid swing. Once he synced it.
He stops mid lick of the young blood off of his knife.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that? He gives the classic.
They do like to lick their weapons, you know.
Ew! It's too with a blade. It's better. With the mace, it's too phallic.
You don't like me licking the mace? Anyways,
so he reveals the blade. He like stabs himself with it, making it ignite like a lightsaber, and the orc is like, "Where'd you get that? Give it here." Give it here, boy! In another amazing performance by an orc, which is just like all you need to do.
They're
is
so good, yeah.
Like
they're so good, yeah. Just like grimy and skeevy, and you got to have a nice little accent, and you're good, and you're an orc.
Give it here, boy.
Give it here,
and he runs.
Blood.
He gives him a good old swing, and he runs out the door. And one thing that I really thought was funny. I understand it because the sun or whatever, but when he goes to chase Theo, he does this move with his skin cloak that's like this.
Oh, and he like whips it over. Yeah.
Yeah, and he like puts it in front of his face, and he looks very reminiscent of Dracula before he runs out. And I thought with
their nice I just like that they have this like weird snake or lizard skin.
Yeah, it's like I think like I don't know
but
what
it's
kind
huge.
of skin it is. I like to think that it's human skin.
Oh, gross. Oh, it could be. But that's damn. I don't know. It looks a little bit. Oh, I don't know.
Think about that. We'll take what do you think it is? Drop it in the comments.
What do you
below. Think? And then so when Theo escapes, we see him. We see that he's managed to hide in what's that, lassie? What? Little Theo's trapped in the well. We have to go get him. And so he's hiding in the well while all of the orcs in the entire village are searching around for this boy in this hilt, and somehow manages to evade.
Yeah.
Capture.
And they do of course the scene of the orc drinking out of the well, you know.
Yeah, and almost catching him because he heard him, but then walking away and never ever coming back to check again, which I thought was like these orcs.
Oh, that well's a little too deep for me, you know. Probably one of those.
Yeah.
This water tastes a little bit like man flesh.
I don't like my water. It tastes like man flesh. I wanted to comment. Do you remember when we were watching it and they mentioned the one of the caravans of people that came in? Now I'm forgetting the word, but or Dirum or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like it says a lot of people came from this place and it started with an O. And I remember I said to you when consulting the sacred text, apparently that location they're coming from was the area where Mount Doom is. I'm pretty sure that's where they came from.
Mount Doom specifically.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, cool. But I'll double check. I can see the slightly the spelling, but it's like ORDI something. But that's the one that I had commented to you about. Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Nice. Yeah. Nice little name drop to at least give us a sense of where everything is.
Name drop that you have to go look up.
I mean, yeah. For our Silmarillioids. Hashtag Silmarillioids.
Yeah, for the Silmarillioids. Hashtag Silmarillioids.
But the next scene brings us to a Region with Elrond and Celebrimbor, and we see that they're like well on their way to creating this forge already. With some help from the dwarves because they've agreed so far. But in the interaction between Elrond and Celebrimbor, we get a nice little, oh, you remind me of your father sequence where he takes a moment and he pauses, and Celebrimbor's like, your father once said that my future will be tied in the hands of his son, and he said it so matter-of-factly, and I thought that was an interesting little drop, I guess, of dialogue.
That foresight, yeah. But also, but Elrond kind of has that ability, no? He has that ability to kind of like see ahead.
Yeah.
So.
I think everybody in Elrond's like lineage has
Lineage,
that like
yeah.
foresight type of thing.
That's cool.
And then we find out that Durin is like completely avoiding not only Celebrimbor but Elrond himself.
Yeah.
He's just like like pretending not to
he's
be
like...
involved at all, I guess. And then we get that like really, I love any of these scenes with Disa in them.
Yeah,
because
Disa's
we get Elrond
great.
like
She is a great character. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really, really good. And the actress is amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
there's an interaction between Elrond and Disa where Elrond is kind of like trying to get some information out of her. Like,
Yeah,
where is Durin? Like, what's going on? And she's like making up all
where's
these
my
excuses.
friend? Uh-huh.
Yeah, like where's my buddy at? Where's he at? And she's like,
where's my buddy?
He's mining quartz. He's busy. You're not gonna.
But they don't
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, Elrond is like pulling this like Sherlock Holmes shtick where he's like,
he's deducting everything.
If he was really in the quartz cave, then why didn't he bring his chisel axe? And why would you be making his favorite supper? And Disa, like, I guess.
Yeah, she's being like, Elrond, all right, you're being real nosy in my damn house.
Yeah, maybe you mind your business or you won't get any of this delicious stew. Okay, which happens to be Durin's favorite.
It's probably pretty good.
It's probably pretty
zip it.
good. So shut up. But then we get our first look at the what do you see with your elvish eyes?
Yeah,
Elrond's little like
that,
like long sight vision and I guess hearing, where Disa and Durin are having this conversation like, I think he bought it. How's it going?
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, we're in the we're in the old mine or whatever, and he's able to ascertain where Durin is really
the old mine.
Old mine, you say, which probably is harder to locate in Moria than,
yeah, unless you're an elf.
I guess. And then one thing I thought was funny, I think I made a comment about it when we first watched, but I love the dwarves that come, like the guard dwarves that come up and they're like walk up to him and they've got the little flaps and they're like,
what you lost, elf.
Yeah,
that's the wrong. You do a great dwarf voice. You do it.
You lost. Oh no! Well, I'm stuck in the orc. I keep trying to get out of the orc. Yeah, I'm stuck in orc.
You lost, elf.
No, I can't.
You lost,
it's orc.
Yeah, it's orc. It's orc until it's not orc. I don't know if it was you or like another TikTok or something that I came across somewhere on the internet and the interwebs. They were talking about like the structure of the dwarven armor. And they were saying how they liked the face plates, how they made them out of metal so that they're shielded against dragon fire, and they can
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I remember
I said that in the first episode that I liked the way that the armor was, but I think I remember what you're talking about because somebody I did see a discussion about the armor, I guess, being reminiscent of the first dwarvish armor that was described to have been able to withstand dragon fire.
Right, to withstand dragon fire. God, that's so fucking cool, man. Damn.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. I wouldn't put any faith in any set of armor when it came to dragon fire. So Durin so Elrond makes his way down to the secret mine.
To the old mine. Mm-hmm.
And he finds it, and he again Sherlock Holmes his way past the secret door. That's like
he uses the little
child rhyme.
Don't teach your children secret secret passwords.
Songs. I wondered about that originally, and I was like, how did it out of all the things, why would he think that? And I realized in my second watching today where Disa is telling the kids to shut up over and over and over and over again because they're singing that song.
Oh yeah.
Stop it!
She's
Stop
this elf is gonna. Oh yeah, and she starts to offer other games for them to play or whatever.
Right. She's like say anything other than that secret song that we use to get into our secret mind. But
God, she's a great character.
She's so good, man. But he makes it in. and Durin catches him, and we finally get the explanation of what the dwarves are hiding, which is to
Put your
me
hand on the
less.
stone.
Yeah, that was a big. That was a big part where they had to. He wouldn't tell him until he took an oath on the stone, which then he.
The oath will
ups.
outlive any elf.
Yeah, it was good. It was like this is an oath on the mountain, and if you break your oath, then all of your line will suffer sorrow. And then
everything's going to be real bad.
Yeah. And then Elrond thinks about it for a second. He's like, okay, I'll do that. And then I will I'll see your forever sorrow swear on the mountain, and I'll raise you swear on my father, the frickin' evening star and the morning star.
You're what now, Durin?
What now, Durin? So he swears, and Durin reveals what they're hiding, which is mithril. A strong metal material that will bring them good fortune or whatever.
More precious than gold.
But I was like, so you think I don't know. We're interpreting the ancient scroll separately, but I guess we're seeing that they discovered it in the Second Age, but I feel like I was hoping that whatever they had in the box would be more interesting than that, to be honest.
Checking the ancient text, and after our conversation, we were talking about whether or not mithril was in, it ran out in the Third Age, or what exactly what were the history behind mithril.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's that saying that goes, they dug so deep, like that they found something that they wish they had never found.
Yeah.
And that's 100% going to be the Balrog.
Yeah. So my understanding is,
because think about it. Because people were saying that the guy that came falling out of the sky was going to be a Balrog, but the story does go that the mithril, it's so treacherous to mine, and it's because it eventually leads to the Balrog.
Yeah,
and I'm really hoping we get that.
I mean, we know we will, because they showed it in the teaser for the show, right? Like we know that the Balrog is going to be in the show because they've shown it already. But
and I just want to comment that another viewer. So we're watching this, and we're also catching little things that other people are saying. Somebody said, and I listened to it myself, and it kind of sounded like it, that when the mine shakes, that you actually hear a roar. Yeah, that you actually hear like a grumble, like a roar. So
yeah, I heard that too before watching it the second time, and I listened specifically for that, and I totally agree. It does sound like a roar. But the problem that I have, well, I guess the concept of mithril or whatever, the dwarves of Moria use mithril to become very wealthy. That's their claim to fame, I guess, is mithril. They find this mithril, and obviously they share it enough that the elves have it or whatever. But maybe because it's, I don't know. But my problem is, if we see the Balrog destroying Moria in this season, that means that it would have to happen within the next 4 episodes, because we're already halfway through the season.
Yeah. Well, there is a good possibility that it's one of those scenarios where we get to the very last episode, and that's when we crack open the mine a little too far, and we get that roar, and then cuts to black. The Balrog will return in the multiverse. You know what I mean? It might be one of those scenarios. It ends with that. I wouldn't be surprised, because that's a big character. That's a big ass character.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And then I also wonder if they're going to do something similar to, because they are condensing the timeline down a lot. So I wonder if they're going to do something similar to, Game of Thrones, where it's a lot
where they just
of time is passing.
Yeah,
and maybe
huge
they're
time
use,
skips.
And maybe they're going to use that tower as an indication of how much time is passing. You know how, because they showed the tower, we went from, the tower hadn't even been started to
halfway done. Yeah.
And it's that. Yeah. How long is it?
Yeah,
been?
that's you're right. You're probably
long,
you're probably right. That's
was in what we're expecting 5 seasons, 4 seasons, 5 seasons.
I don't know off the top of my head, honestly.
I think it's 5.
I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying this one.
I know, right? Oh, it's already halfway done, man. Like it's already halfway gone. Which
I know, and then I'm gonna watch it again when it's done.
Or watch it again. And
No, don't be depressed. Now my marathon will go. No, my marathon will now consist of Rings of Power, then Hobbit, then Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then and I'll be sitting in front of a TV for at least like 2 weeks.
After that sequence where we get our little bit of mithril, Durin gives Elrond a little chunk of it as a friend, I guess.
As a token of friendship.
As a token of friendship. And then yeah, like you said, the mine collapses and we're left with that.
Mm-hmm.
We're left with, people are trapped in the mine. It's perilous to mine. My father doesn't permit it. And then we go back to Galadriel and Sauron.
Yeah.
I mean Halbrand.
Yeah.
In the jail. And they're talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
And I'm telling you, man, look, you take your helmet off. Take your helmet off right now. See?
You see?
Halbrand, I'm telling you, put it back on. That's good. See, but okay. This whole conversation that they have in the jail is like even the whole scene is even more indicative that he's Sauron. Like they have the conversation where he's like, maybe you shouldn't be treating these men like orcs and trolls and battlefields. Like you gotta work them a little bit. You dirty Sauron.
You gotta buy him a drink. That's the problem. You've been in Numenor for far too long. You haven't bought anybody a drink.
Not only that, not only the drinks. Not only get around to drinks for everybody, but what does he actually say to Galadriel? What's the best way to manipulate man? He says, find out what they fear the most, and then give them a way of defeating it. So
yeah, that's right.
Very
like, Sauron
I don't know,
of you.
Maybe a ring of power. Maybe.
The
dude's Sauron. The dude's Sauron. I have there's no doubt in my mind that
maybe.
So Sauerbrand tells her how
so
to
Sauerbrand?
Sauerbrand tells her how to manipulate man by playing on their fears, and the guards come in and they're like, you're out of here. We're gonna send you on a boat. Come on, let's go. And she beats him up so that she can go to the tower, and our boy
right in front of
Farazan. Yeah, but again, let me sprinkle in some Sauron again.
He whispers into his ear.
Yeah, he whispers into his ear. He's like, don't chase her. And he's like, why wouldn't I chase her?
Yeah, well, like, don't let her go, man.
Or whatever. Yeah,
let her go.
To which he just immediately does. Like he doesn't even think about it. He listens to
almost like he's under a spell.
She does escape, and she gets up into the tower of the king.
Yeah.
With some Prince of Persia wall climbing or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how she gets up.
You're not going to stop Galadriel.
So she sees the king, and to which we discover that the king is very ill. Very, very looking
he's not doing well.
Yeah. And I guess we see why he's being kept secret, because maybe I don't really know what the hierarchy is in Numenor.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe if he dies, she can't be queen.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know why he would be hidden away, other than because he's still, I don't know. Right now they've only really sold the story that he's still, he's still about the old ways, and so that's why he's caged in his own kingdom. But
he's banished there because he likes elves or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have Galadriel and Miriel go up.
Yeah.
Miriel or with an L?
Miriel. I think it's Miriel.
Hold on, I have it.
Miriel. Miriel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Galadriel and Miriel have a conversation finally, because they kind of have to, because Galadriel.
Yeah, they need to talk it out.
Yeah, they got to have a conversation for once in their life. They have to be one heart to heart. Nobody else is around. Just talk to me. And we find out that Muriel has kind of taken the place of the king because the king had a vision that we saw earlier with the destruction of Numenor, which he took to believe that their ways of not being, friendly with the elves are pissing off the Valar. Like we have to reunite with the elves, to which everybody in Numenor rebelled. And the only thing, I guess, that was the solution.
Well, they're going to live forever
was,
and take their jobs.
They're going to live forever and they're going to take their job and they don't sleep or eat or poop or whatever, And so Muriel,
it's in the lore.
It's in the lore, okay? Muriel, in the interest of appeasing, I guess, Numenor, says that she'll take over as Queen Regent because she is not, she doesn't share the same views as her father. Yeah. We're going to banish my father. I'm going to take his place, even though secretly she's one of the faithful. She is supportive of the elves. Yeah, but she kind of has put on this front because everybody was going to go to war, I guess.
Yep. It's going to get real bad.
Muriel takes her to this vault of relics as she's telling this story. And you could say, what was in the vault of relics? What's in the secret vault?
We see Narsil. Right in its beautiful little holder. It doesn't look as cool as in the trilogy.
Yeah, I will say that we had this conversation before where we were comparing what they look like. The Narsil in the Peter Jackson trilogy looked like chonkier, I think. It flared more on the top, and it was it had the black hilt. And
it just looks more. It just looks like swords have been reforged and redone and everything. So I get it. It's Narsil from 5,000 years ago. So I get it.
Yeah, I think it's still supposed to look, but I think that the Narsil that we see looks more kind of like a combination of Elvish and I guess Numenorian design or whatever. I don't really know the origin of Narsil. I don't really know anything about it, but I would imagine if it's an older sword.
You're talking about after it's reforged, because it gets a new name after Elrond reforges it.
No, I'm talking about when it's in its original state. The one that defeats Sauron or whatever. But what we did stop and talk about is the Palantir, which Muriel gives her an opportunity to see what her problem is, essentially.
Right.
Galadriel's granted a vision of the destruction of Numenor. And I actually really liked how they did it. The Peter Jackson had you kind of look into
swirlies.
Swirlies, yeah. But this was she touched it and it
melded into that. Yeah, it just broke out into another vision, another dimension almost.
Yeah, exactly. The vision encompassed her. It was like a holodeck or something, or a mirror dimension.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was really cool.
Made out of ice and magic. It just turned into a mirror.
Right. It was really cool. I liked.
Yeah, it was really awesome
of how they portrayed that. And then we find out Galadriel's Palantirs grant many visions, and some come to pass, some don't. And Muriel's this one started with you coming here. You didn't see that part. But this one starts with you coming here. You know what I thought when she said that? You know who else shows up in Numenor at the same exact time? Sauron. I mean Halbrand.
Yeah.
All right, the question is, name something you believe could be Sauron.
Steve, we're going to go with Halbrand.
Show me Halbrand. See? Right there. There it is. So Muriel and Galadriel talking after the shared vision, and it's she's supportive of the elves, but she believes specifically that Galadriel is the problem.
The
her solution.
problem, right?
Yeah, but
is to send her away.
Yeah, because she doesn't believe that necessarily Galadriel is the problem. She believes that
Right.
Galadriel's presence is like stirring up the Numenorians, and they're going to piss
Yeah.
off the Valar. If she
Uh-huh.
stays there, the Numenorians are going to be such huge giant dicks that the gods
Yeah.
destroy the ride.
Piss them off. Yeah.
So you
Uh-huh.
gotta get out of here, girl. And then we get swept back to the Southlands to see our boy Theo in a little bit of a predicament, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little pickle.
A little bit of a humdinger of a pickle. But after a brief stealth sequence, we
that was a pretty silly stealth sequence. But yeah, he basically trips his way out of danger.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these orcs are not good at their jobs.
No, that's why we love them. And that's why we love them.
That's why we love them. But so Arondir shows up and he saves him after, like, when he's about to get sliced up by an orc because he's made of delicious man flesh. And there is just the best scene in the entire episode that's including the sweeping away of Numenor is Arondir in escape mode catching a arrow in midair with a freaking swoopy arm grab and then turning it back and shooting some orcs in the face. That was
right in the dirty orc face. Yeah, that was great. That was fantastic.
Some, like, John Wick shit, man. Like that was like so stupid.
Yeah,
like it's so dumb,
somebody said they had wished they had seen it in not in slow motion, but I thought it was perfect. That wouldn't have looked as cool as it did. I mean, we wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, exactly. I think if it wasn't in slow motion, it would have gone so fast that nobody would have understood what happened.
Right. It would
just be like
right. Yeah, it would have just looked like him. It would have looked like him pulling an arrow out of his quiver.
Right after the scene, was like one of the most Lord of the Rings
with
things
this
I've ever seen in my life.
Beautiful shot of the dark clouds being penetrated by this glorious light, and then all the orcs are getting to the tree line and they're all pissed off that they can't. And then the best part is that when we were watching, he goes, I thought the orcs had arrows. Remember?
Yeah, like there was a very okay. So that was one of my.
It was a long pause.
It was a very long pause in.
I thought the orcs had arrows.
Yeah, finally,
it was just
after
perfect timing.
2 minutes of them just like staring and being relieved. But to be fair, I think a lot of that scene was potentially in slow motion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. But it just was funny. It just like you were like, I didn't even think about it. I thought the orcs had arrows, and then
yeah. I was glad that they at least started shooting again.
Yeah.
And caused them to like run because I didn't know what to do with that. But one thing, so it goes from that amazing shot with like they're on the hillside or whatever, and then it goes to like swooping over mountains, and it does this like nice little transition from like over the mountain, cloudy, like beautiful shot to Disa and some more dwarves singing under the mountain, and we're getting our like first glimpse at what Disa was referring to previously, which was like the resonating
like singing to the ceremony,
singing to the mountain, and.
Yeah,
and like that was,
and you got to see it a little bit. You got to see the dirt like moving, over the stone.
Yeah, exactly. Like Elrond like looks down and you can see like the very very similar to I guess the title sequence where it's like
the intro,
resonating with the stone and like you can see it all moving. So it's like more than just like singing. Like it's actually
that was a great scene.
Moving the.
I'm pretty sure that was her singing too.
Oh, you think like the real actress?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was her singing as well. I know. I follow the composer on Twitter, and somebody was talking about that exact scene, and I'm pretty sure she was included in that.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I would hope that, man, that scene was awesome. You know why that scene was awesome? Because freaking dwarf lore, man. Like
dwarf lore and dwarf music and dwarf singing, and it's almost as good as the Harfoots.
Almost. No, I mean I'm like
Almost.
neck and
No,
neck.
I'm
like
yeah,
neck and
it's
neck with how
even
I
for
feel
me here. Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
it's different. It's different. They're like
Yeah.
even but different to me.
Yeah.
But
Right.
because it's like you don't really get any
Two
like
sides,
dwarf.
two different sides of your favorite ring.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like something that we don't get a lot of
yeah.
in Lord of the Rings. Like we
And like
what
Lord of
do
the
we know about
Rings and
dwarves? They live in the mountains.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. We don't,
but like you never
it goes, it's like elf, human, hobbit, dwarf. You know, we don't really get a lot of screen time or any like media time with them. So it's always a treat to have them because they got a rich lore.
It's really good. It's really man, I will never as long as as long as you sprinkle in some dwarves in here, I'm gonna be a happy boy.
Just
like,
keep sprinkling them in. Yeah.
Just keep sprinkling them in. So Disa talks to Elrond. Like Elrond asks her what it's about, you know, just out of curiosity, and she's like, "We're singing to the mountain so that the mountain might release the bodies or the people that are alive, you know, whatever." And we can get to them, which is like it's just such a cool thing. It's like I really enjoy
that's
that.
cool.
And then Durin conveniently immediately after that,
right after,
like
right,
he's like, we dug them all out,
they're alive.
Yeah. And then he's like pissed, right? He's like, my father shut it down. My father, we don't. Oh, I'm so
shut
mad
down
at
the
him.
mine. Yeah,
he shut down the mine. And he's like, I'm never going to talk to my father again. And he's in a huff because his daddy doesn't want to let him mine mithril. But Elrond is like, well, let me tell you about my father. And I'm not saying.
Let me tell you about my daddy.
I'm not saying that my daddy better than your daddy, but let me just
my
say,
daddy kicked your daddy's ass.
My father,
and now
my father dug a mithril out of the store.
Rush.
Yeah, very rush hour reference.
Rush hour reference.
Don't you talk about my daddy?
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 Yeah.
God, I love Rush Hour.
But anyways, so Elrond tells him, you know, when my father, he was amazing. He became a star, you know, as you know, you do. He became the star in the sky, and sometimes I wish that I could still talk to him and you know hear what he has to say. To which Durin
but I can't because he's too busy being a star.
You know, I can't because you know he's a star.
But we're not here to compare our daddies. All right,
we're not here to compare our daddies. But maybe you should go talk to your daddy. And so Durin Durin goes. Or no. Okay, so right at the end of that, Disa comes in, and she's like, just to like kind of like clear the air a little bit and add a little bit of like comedic relief.
Yeah.
She asks
a little bit of
she's
Disa.
like, so Elrond, tell me about when you met Durin. And he's like, I've already told you that. And she's like, well, no, you tell me because you know.
Yeah, Durin makes shit up.
yeah, and they have this like little like hilarious back and forth about what actually
like this little good buddy banter. Trolls. That's the type of shit I love that shit. I love it.
Elrond and Durin together are so funny because he's like making fun of him for screaming like a girl, and Durin is like, I wrote it down because it's like one of my favorite lines in the entire show. But he's like, you wouldn't remember your face if he says you wouldn't remember your face if you were gazing in a mirror. And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Like that's such a good clapback. I am going to use it.
To an elf, right?
So we were watching together, and I was secretly by myself because you couldn't see my real emotions. But I got a little bit emotional in this scene specifically when Durin goes.
Oh, with his father.
Yeah. Durin goes and he talks to his father, and he's like. I'm sorry.
Who, by the way, you and I weren't the only two that thought King Durin was dead.
Oh, okay. Because
so many people on Twitter thought he had died.
Okay, all right, that makes me feel better because he looked like he was dead. He looked like he was dead. Like the
he literally looked like he was dead. Like he was gonna walk around and see his dead father, and we were like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, no. So so you're right. He's talking to his dad, and
That makes me feel better. So yeah, he's talking to his dad. He's like apologizing or whatever, and then his dad again gives us some cool like dwarf mythology, I guess, not necessarily, I guess, lore. I don't know, but like their tradition,
Right.
where he says that when a new king
That's
is
what they
crowned,
believe. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like the Lion King. It's like the Lion King, is like it's like all of the memory of your past ancestors will be with you or whatever. But like when a new king is crowned, the voice of your forefathers
It's
flow into
flooded. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you get to hear mine now. Like you don't have to wait until you're king.
Yeah.
So like that, like
Yeah,
I thought that like whole scene was
that
very
hits that hits right here. That hits right here.
Yeah, and then they like embrace each other, and he says this line, which I wrote down verbatim again because like I just thought it was such a good line. He says, "Forever am I with you, my son, even in anger. Sometimes in anger, most of all, there is nothing to forgive." And it's like, like it's so,
yeah,
it was so good.
That was
it
nice.
It was very like a very
that was a nice. That was a really nice moment. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because it like is the juxtaposition of like how mad Jiren was in the previous
right,
scene,
and
where
how he's kind of been like, right, kind of how he's been building up that anger. Yeah,
it was really good. And then the last bit of that is we get the knowledge that we don't believe. I'm taking the elf's word for it, at least in part, that they're not after the mithril. And I'm going to go into Linden with Elrond. And
with Elrond,
they're
right?
still suspicious though, because he's like, what is your intuition telling you? He's like, something's afoot. Maybe rings of power.
Good.
Is afoot.
Good, Durin. Good,
Durin. Yeah, exactly. So then we're back in the watchtower. Erendir is there. They've made it back. And Arondir, I guess, gives the message from Adar, which is, we'll let you live. We'll let you and the other humans live.
Bend the knee.
If you bend the knee. Yeah, essentially. It's like you forsake all claim to the Southlands and you swear fealty to me. And it's like, we both know that. I feel
we're not, come on, bro.
Yeah, I'm
not doing that shit.
I'm not doing that shit. But my anticipation is that we will get like a Helm's Deep situation.
Yeah, you're like a siege. Like,
like a siege situation. And
yeah.
But the only thing that makes me think that they're, instead of a siege, we might get like a kind of like a spy situation, I guess, is that Theo is chilling and the old guy comes up that he stole the dagger from, and he's like, "Oh, I know what you took, boy." And he like shows his arm. And he's like, have you heard of him? Have you heard of him, boy? Have you heard of Sauron? And he's like,
have you seen the skies lately? You know?
Yeah, guy is very suspicious. And I guess if there are other, like, maybe he's a one-off, but maybe there are other humans that for some reason are still in support of the Dark Lord. He's literally called the evil Dark Lord.
Yeah, so this whole time I'm like, no, they're going to fight back. But now that I know that at least, like, plain and simple, it's been revealed to the listeners that like somebody who still leans on that side is within the camp. There's obviously going to be a lot more of them, so that could be bad for when the inevitable attack on the tower or the watchtower comes.
Yeah, because it's gonna be like they're fighting. Old guy,
and then all of a sudden
opens the gate or something underneath, and they get overrun or something like that, probably. But hopefully we get a little bit of fighting, because in the little teaser for next week, it looked like people were training for a little bit of a fight. Spoilers. But that was pretty much it for the entire like Southlands arc. And then we get like a little tiny snippet where the orcs confirm to Adar that, we know where it is. That
they saw the hilt and all that,
they saw the hilt and it's in the tower, which just reinforces, we're going to get a siege or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the last scene is them putting Galadriel on a boat, as Muriel promised. She's like, "You're out of here." So she puts her on the boat, and they're sending her away. And I thought it was funny when we were watching. So they're sending her away, and she's on the boat. She's heading out, and then the white petals from
the white tree, yeah, the white petals start falling,
start falling in
like
abundance,
showering them. Yeah.
And one thing that I thought was just so weird, like I don't want to say hate because I like the show and I don't want this to be misconstrued, but I don't like when shows make it obvious that you think that I'm so stupid that I can't put the like symbolism together. So they put the narrative from literally last week's episode into this week's episode where she's explaining the meaning of what the petals mean, like what we believe the petals mean when they're falling. Like the next thing should have been like a big wave knocked over the boat, and then play the narrative about the sea always being right over that one too, just to that really like just really like drives it in, just to
hammer in that you're stupid and you should keep watching, you stupid. Stupid.
Just in case and I'm also gonna get a letter in the mail from Amazon that says, hey, in case you didn't know, the leaves falling meant
this is your weekly Amazon recap letter.
Yeah, so they see all the petals falling and she changes her mind. She's like, okay, the Valar don't want us to send Galadriel.
Yeah,
we should
Elendil's voice or Elendil's face is so like funny how they just like slow-mo him just like fuck.
Yeah, it's like,
what have we done?
You seeing this? They're pissed.
Yeah, you seeing this? They're so mad.
They're so mad. So Muriel just completely.
But I'm the one that's named Friend of Elf, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. You're screwed.
I'm good.
I'll be fine. So Muriel does a complete 180. She's like, okay, come back. Come back.
Hold on.
And then there's a decree among all of Numenor that's like, I'm personally going to go and take Galadriel back to Middle Earth. And not only
that will make them happy.
Yeah, maybe then praise be to the Valar. They'll be happy with me. And not only that, but we're also going to support our brethren in the Southlands. And then they ask for volunteers, to which nobody initially volunteers. But we get that scene where like Isildur is like, I will take it. I will take it. And
I volunteer as tribute.
You know, and my axe and my sword and my bow. You know, just like everybody all at once.
Yeah, one of them things.
Go. So, which I thought was like interesting because it's like in the beginning of the episode where, you know, we're getting the impression that like everybody hates elves, and all throughout the episode we hate elves, we hate elves, we hate elves, and although they're not necessarily going to fight for the elves specifically, like they're going in support of, you know, Galadriel is queen. With them. Like she's part of it, but the queen is going with her now. And they're like rallying. Right.
So they're in support of that.
Yeah, they're in support of, I guess, the queen in general, I guess. And
well, if the queen's going, well, then I say hip hip. All right, one of those.
Hooray! Yeah, exactly. but that's pretty much the end of the episode. That's what we're left off with. And I guess we'll see more next week, which I guess is probably turning out to be pretty exciting. I don't know if it's going to be like training and then the week after is going to be battle, but I'm excited.
Oh yeah, that would be that. I could see that.
I'm excited to see what happens though. But it's that time of the episode, and you want me to start because you did it last week?
Yeah, go for it.
So we're gonna give our review. Out of 1 out of 10.
How many rings?
My preciousness. Is that what we went with last week? Is just rings of power?
We said how many rings? How many rings of power? Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 out of 10 rings of power. I think this episode probably is a 7 out of 10 for me, because I went 8 out of 10 last week, right? I think I did for that episode. That episode was like almost perfect to me.
Yeah, I am right there with you. I don't really have like a, like, you know, it had its fun moments, but you know, it was more like a filler than anything. And so I'm the same with you. 7 out of rings, 7 rings of power. Let's put some rings in the chat. Get your beers. Rings in the chat. Rings in the chat.
It's just a bunch of O's. Yeah, but I mean, in general, I just like this like it was good. It was still good. Like there was some really cool stuff in it, and I wouldn't necessarily agree
Yeah.
that I think when you say filler, you don't mean like filler, like like a beach
Oh no, I don't
episode
mean like it. No,
or
it wasn't
whatever.
like right.
But
It wasn't like
I
a
know,
boring filler or something. It was just like it was not as much action as like has been happening. It's kind of, it was a lot lower, like slower tempo, even though it had a lot of cool things happen, like the Palantir and shit like that.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. It had a lot of cool things, but it wasn't as exciting to me as that
Yeah.
previous episode was.
Yeah.
Probably mainly. I mean, it opened real hot. It opened real hot, but
Yeah, it was really like I'm saying all that stuff was really cool. It just didn't have that like craziness happening. You know, we had a
Yeah.
lot of close calls, I should say.
Yeah, and you know what didn't? You know what's missing? You know what's missing? Freaking Nori wasn't in this episode.
Yeah,
So
that's honestly why we're a point down. We
Yeah.
need the Harfoots.
Oh yeah, episode 5. Hopefully we'll have more Nori, but we'll see. And boom.